Hello and welcome to the last lesson, the last part of my Healthy Happy Feet workshop. And this is not so much a lesson in itself, but more like a discussion of options, of what to do next, of how to use what we have done so far. Because I think what we have done was pretty intense and pretty amazing. A whole new, different connection for your feet. New hope for healthy feet, for healthy, happy feet. A way to work with the feet. So you can work with the lessons, the video lessons, or just take parts out of the lesson, do them during your everyday life, whenever you have a chance to touch your feet, to work with your feet, or just to move your feet. Because literally for every step we take, we need our feet. As crazy as it sounds like, but we need our feet for every step in our lives. Yeah, and that's why we need to maintain them and to show our feet some love, which we did plenty in this workshop. Yeah, and here we are. So everything we did was not the conventional way. There was no stretching, like in a stretching class. There was no strengthening like in a strengthening class, and still the feet, knees, the hip, the whole body feels amazing. It's quite a big of a benefit, this whole workshop. So how to step it up? I will do a couple of things here in the garden, because right now in the dome tent it's very hot and I prefer to stay outside. We do a couple of things here, but not too many, so you can watch the video, play along. You will need some steps, you will need some stairs actually. Like I don't know if you have stairs at home, or maybe your couch will do for the first part. Alright, without further ado, a couple of things to discuss for climbing stairs. What do we need? We need a stair. I don't have stairs here. I brought a little bench. So this is the little bench, the little table I brought here into nature to work with, to discuss a couple of ideas. Let's see how this will work out, because it's actually like almost like 2 or 3 steps. Let's see. Let's start with how to climb up such a thing. And the first thing you would probably do is like come close to it. So it depends. Some people will just, for them it's like, no problem at all. And for some other people it's a little bit more difficult. So to discuss the technique, so of course you have to bring your one foot on top, so that's a challenge. But if you're up for this challenge, if you're able to rise your knee, so we did this in the workshop, to rise the knee and place the foot here, and then we are finished, right? Because how to yeah, so there's a couple of things. So you can do that on your couch actually. So the first thing I would recommend, if this would be a lesson, is to bring your hands, have your foot standing on the table, and then try to bring your hands on the table and let go again. And that's the movement. So you try to put your hands to the right of your foot, try not to break your back, and in front of the foot, and you go back, and then also try to put your hands to the left of your foot and go back and take a rest. So the thing is, in life, in a live class, I could see you, I could see what you're doing, I could react to what you're doing, I could see, it's easy for you, we do something else, or it's too difficult for you, we need to do something else to break it up more. So I can just guess. So first step, put put your foot onto the step, and then bring your hands down. So we already did that, and then walk your hands from one side to the other side of your foot. Just do this movement a couple of times. And you already notice your weight is coming over your knee. The weight of your whole body is going over your knee. And there's a flexion in your hip joint, a strong flexion. So when you come up to stand and you put your foot on the table, and this flexion movement, try this flexion movement, like shift your pelvis backwards, shift your knee backwards and your upper body forwards until you can touch the table. That's a very specific movement. Huh? So you can touch the table, and at some point you will be able to move your weight further onto the table. And then you still have your right foot. And we did the pushing, we did the hopping with the right foot, so you can push your right foot. So you move your weight onto the table. And you give a little push with your right foot, and then actually you're already up on the table. And that's the movement. And then you can make it smoother and better. And always take a break in between. And then try again. And you will notice, it's easy. So, that's the technique. There's something in the hip joint. The hip joint must bend. The pepe, your behind, must go backwards. And you need to go forwards. And then you can give a little push with your right foot, with the other foot on the ground, and that's how you come up easily onto anything. And you just have to do this sequence. Put one foot on the table, then try to touch with your hand on the table, or on the couch, or on your bed, or on the stair, whatever is your challenge. And try to touch down with your hands in different positions. And around. So you start to have this flexion of, if that's possible, your knee towards your armpit. And you're leaning forwards, but you have to have this flexion in your hip joint. So you lean forwards, you have to have the flexion, and then you give a little push with your left foot, and then you're up, you're like crawling up. You're crawling up the table. And if you take a step up the table, it's the same technique. It's the flexion in the hip joint, it's the movement of the knee, a little bit backwards. So behind goes behind, and you lean forwards until you can come. Yeah, there's a little detail. So if you're like this, if your foot is on the table and you try to come up, you will never come up. You will just push yourself away from the table, like this, right? So you have to have the movement in the hip joint and bring your weight forward. It's like a squat with the feet already on the table. But it's not just the power of your quads, but it's your whole body movement and the push with your foot until you're easy up. And reversible, the same way down. So it's a reversal, you make it a reversible movement up and down. Yeah? Be careful, don't fall, don't hurt yourself. Until you play with it until it's smooth. There's a couple of components to it. The flexion, the touching, the shifting of the weight, the little push with your foot. Well, and that's the other challenge, how to get down by moving forward. Okay, how to get down. I already covered how to get up a little bit. Smooth rolling up. Smooth rolling up. And then, wow, how to get down. Here is very, very high. So you have to bend somehow or drop, which is high. The elderly, how do they go down such a thing? Of course, they wouldn't get themselves in such a situation in the first place. But if they just have to climb regular steps, they would hold on to the handrail, and then they would go sideways, and then they would bend the knee that is further up, and that's how they come down. Huh? And that's the same way you see toddlers, small children go up and down, some. But in the beginning, when they start to climb like this, or like this, this is very high. So my point is to get used to dropping. Maybe your feet are not used to dropping anymore, so you have to start really small scale. You have to start from like one stair, and you jump down from a little bit. So say you're on a small stair, and then you drop with your preferred foot this little height. Yeah, that's what you practice. This is very serious. So you practice this little drop, one foot at a time, or with both feet you practice the jump. It's like in our hopping class, but instead of hopping you jump down from a very small step, a very small stair. And this will take a couple of days, if you're not good at it, from this height, until the structure of your legs, the structure of your foot is strong again to actually do it. And if you're not used to this and you've tried for the first time, it actually might hurt a little bit. So take a small step first. It's not like a competition. It's just so you're comfortable with walking up and down stairs with a little bit of jumping. To use your feet to jump again, to walk up easily, and to walk down easily. That's what I wanted to discuss. Hope it wasn't too lengthy. All right, so couple of ideas, and here we end this beautiful workshop. This beautiful time, these couple of lessons. I hope it was beneficial for you. I hope you learned a couple of new things. I did. I hope it was a good time and you can incorporate these things into your life. And there will be more, and I hope to see you again. So as always, thank you for watching, and see you in my next workshop or my next video. Bye bye. I need to go for a walk. Here, go up here and go down here. I didn't have a dead cat, so I used this flower pot, seed pod. There's some wind, but I think the microphone is fine, isn't it? Whatever we do, we have to do it with our whole self. Even if I just look here and scratch a little bit. I can put my right foot into the spotlight. Hello and welcome. Battery empty symbol. So that's the thing. Hello, can I have some light? Okay, now it's nice. Nice lightning. As always, I try to teach as authentic as possible. Wouldn't work any other way.
Aber du sprichst ja nicht dazu, oder?
Muss ich schon, weil sonst versteht man ja nicht, was ich sagen will.
Ja, aber ja, okay. Du musst ja schon den direkten Bezug zur Feldenkrais-Lektion schon schaffen.
Und? Wegspringen, du musst jetzt schauspielen. Spring! Springt nicht. Macht nichts. Jetzt.